Hey everybody, Jason here at TWL, Time Warp and Time Warp Vintage. So I found my outfit, look at this. Oh, and I gotta tell you, because remember, last year I had this, and so now I gotta do it again so you see. Anyways, not why I came on, but I had to show you anyways. Bows. What do? How many of you just have a bunch of old bows like this? You know what I mean? Just old bows that are all packed away in these mixed boxes, and you don't know what to do with them because they're all smushed up, right? I mean, a lot of people, if you save your bows, you come across all these different bow things, right? That look like this. And they take up half your boxes, half your Christmas boxes. So, unless you're super organized, which I am not always super organized, even though I'm a Virgo, right? But I gotta tell you, these are some of the coolest things that you can do and keep every year. And I'm going to show you how in a moment. But so I got to show you because it doesn't really show here, but these are all pieces of bows, pieces of ribbons, stuff like that you've had for many, many years, right? And what do you do with it? Is it possible to reuse those? Well, I'm going to tell you some of these bows we've had for the 15 years we've been here. And what I do is bows, especially if they have wire in them, they last forever because you can redo them. So look, see how smushed up that bow is? And this one I probably did 100 years ago, who knows? But you literally, all you got to do is reformat them, right? Is you put them in and you don't have to throw them away. We got too much trash in the world as it is. And you want to just, look, you can reformat the bow. So that way you can use it year after year after year. If you wanted to help decorate with them, stuff like that, that's always the best way to do it, right? So, are we even playing? Yes, we're live. So, what you want to do is you want to go through and you want to fluff it out, right? You're going to fluff it out and turn it back into that bow that you loved last year. Maybe you got them on a gift. You know, what's really cool is save all your bows that you get on gifts, especially if they're from people who maybe passed during the year, because then you can reuse the bows throughout your house as like a tribute to the people who have passed. We do that at home with greeting or with Christmas cards. So we put them all up around our window in our game room, especially the ones from like our parents that have passed, stuff like that, because I think it's important to do that. But we all have bows, or we all have bags of ribbon and bows that we just throw into a bag, and then next thing you know, they are filling half your boxes that are in your garage. So what do we do with it, right? We take them out and we reuse them. We reutilize them. So you can turn an old bow into something that is beautiful for this year. And it might take a little bit of time, but I'm going to tell you, it's cheaper than going out and buying new bows. It's cheaper than, and it's better on your fingers, trust me. So you just go through and you just redo it like so. And you don't have to, because I'm going to tell you some of this ribbon is so expensive. You go to Michael's, you go to Walmart, and you pick up a nice bolt of ribbon like so. It's going to be $35, $40 for one bolt of ribbon. And one bolt of ribbon will probably make you 2, if not 3 nice size bows. So you divide that. $40, so you're talking about $12 a bow. When if you spend that much on the ribbon, then you want to reuse them year after year, right? But I'm going to give you a little hack that we do here. If you love garage sales, if you love flea markets, throughout the year, Christmas ribbon is cheap anywhere. You can go to even Michael's is cheap. So buy wired ribbon anytime you can that it's on discount or at garage sales, because there's a lot of people that bought ribbon throughout the 80s and 90s and now they're getting rid of it. And you can get an entire tray of stunning ribbon for next to nothing. That's how we got all these. This one that I showed, this one with the Santa Clauses on it, stuff like that. This one, I actually have the price on it. This one was $28 for a 2.5 by or an 8.3 yard bolt of ribbon. $28. I can guarantee you Steve paid maybe a quarter for this. So buy them throughout the year and save them, because it's a great cost effective way of decorating your home when you don't have a ton of money, is bows, and reuse them every year. But look at, all it takes is a little, and see, all it takes is a little movement with the hand, and then you have a nice fluffy bow that you can attach to any gift. You can attach it to anywhere in the house to make a nice display, right? So this one, and I have a bunch over here that I've made, so I'll move that around in a second and show you. But I'm going to do one more here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bow from scratch so that you can see how it's done. So this a bow, it's definitely a bow I'm going to use, because we do have our big sale coming up on Saturday, Small Business Saturday, and you better be shopping small for Small Business Saturday. Look at this. You come across this, and you're gonna say, oh, well, that's ruined. Let's throw that out. Stop. It is not ruined. Okay. What you want to do is you just want to take a few minutes, and you just want to grab one of the loops, and look, it popped it up. Grab one of the loops, and they're going to not be in formation, of course. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to move them around, and you can do that when you're talking about wired ribbon. That's why I'm saying wired ribbon is a one-time buy. If you're doing it for something for your home, for maybe a wreath, or even gifts, when you receive gifts that have wired ribbon on them, take them off and save them, because they're a great cost-effective way of decorating for Christmas. If you don't have a ton of Christmas decorations, or it's even a ton of money to use, you want to make sure that you get the full effect for what you have. And by using ribbons, especially old wire ribbon, it's a great way of doing it, isn't it? Hello, how you guys doing? Anyway, so you look at it, and I saw my mom. Hi, Mom. So even though this looks weird, it's because of the fact that it's loosening over time. You could take it apart and redo it. But I kind of like when ribbon is kind of like this, because you can tuck it deep inside of something, or make it look a little bit more poofy like this. But this I made like 5 years ago and pulled it out of the bag and redid it. So what you want to do is reuse them. Now, look at this one. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside. Then there's this one, and this one is now got, look at this. Looks like a wilted flower, doesn't it? What we need to do is make it look like something that it just sprung out of the ground. So, meaning flower, wilted flower, but you just start moving them around. Look at this. You take something that you think is at the end of its life, and which it's not, because wired ribbon will last forever, and you can reuse it and reuse it and reuse it and reuse it and reuse it, and you don't have to spend the $35 per bolt of ribbon that you know. And for those of you who just come on, I'm going to give you the hack before I make a ribbon out of scratch. I'm going to give you a hack on how to avoid paying the $35, $40 per bolt of ribbon. What you want to do is throughout the year, when you hit garage sales, flea markets, anything like that, buy all the Christmas wired ribbon you can buy, because you're going to buy it at garage sales for next to nothing, quarter to $1, a couple dollars. But you go to the store and a bolt of ribbon will cost you $35. And, you know, a nice bolt of ribbon. And when you do the math, you're only getting a couple of bows for $35. When you buy a whole tray for $25 at a garage sale or a estate sale, you get 100 bows for that, and never throw away your bow. So when you get gifts at home, what you want to do is you want to take the bow off, if it's a wire ribbon, and use those bows. Like I said, they're a great way of honoring those who are either cannot attend your Christmas function or have passed during the year. Because if the bow was on a gift that they had given you, you can now use it as decoration. So let me show you. Ribbon, right? We're going to do this gorgeous ribbon. The things that you need when you're making a bow. The ribbon, of course. And I like to use wired ribbon so that you can control the usage of it. You need a wire of some sort. I use a thin gauged floral wire that I get from Michael's, that you can pick up at Michael's. But I'm going to tell you, anything around your house will work, from pipe cleaner to anything that's got a wire that can help support it. And a pair of scissors, of course. Let me move this because it is in my way. So what you want to do is you don't want to cut it. You want to take the ribbon and some people like to use boards, use props to help make your ribbon. I am a firm believer that there's nothing perfect in nature. So if your bows are too perfect, then they look too perfect. I like to have a little bit of movement in my bows. So you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to fold it under like so that you have a loop on top. Then you're going to pinch that loop like so that you have your center loop in your bow. Now, if you're doing a two, and then you saw I twisted, because when you do that, you're going to have the back of the ribbon here. You want to twist it around so that the front is showing. It works really good when you're using wire ribbon because it stays then. So you look like this, right? Then you're going to take it and you're going to wrap it under, and that's okay. It's creaking, or crinkling. It's wire. It can straighten out. You're going to, now you have two loops. Then you're going to do the same. You're going to twist and you're going to wrap. Now guys, do this because this is great, especially if you make them and your girlfriend's like all impressed about it. So you've got two, right? So you got the bow tie effect here. The bow tie effect, right? Then you're going to twist again and you're going to make this loop a little longer because you start with the smallest in the center and work your way out. All right. Then now you have the third loop going on and then the fourth. Now, a lot of people stop at 4 loops. I like to make them big and poofy, right? 4 loops. Then we're going to bring it out. We've got 1, 2. You're going to bring it out and flip it under a little bit longer. So that way you now have 3. Remember, you do not want everything to be too even because odds are more pleasing to the eye. 3, 5, stuff like that. Okay. So now we're going to flip it here, and now we have 3 bows on each side, and as you can see, it's coming into shape. I'm going to do just a 6-loop bow for you to see. Then I'm going to take this, because we love to have the streamers on your ribbon, and we're going to flip it under. And you could even go, because there's not enough ribbon on here. See, this is why I say buy them at garage sales, because I literally got two bows out of this ribbon. 2. So if you spend $30 on this bow, then you've got $15 bows. And then, so I'm going to loop this real long, right? Then this one is going to loop up as well. We're going to go this way with this one. And then you've got the end of it here. So now you have it all pinched. You have multiple loops going down. Now it looks like a hot mess, right? But watch. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut these super long loops. Those are going to give you your trailers, right? And I've got more trailers on this than necessary. Usually it's 2, maybe 3 at the most, or 4 at the most, but I've got 6, and I'm doing that on purpose. And I should have cut my wire first because now I've got to learn how to use a third hand that doesn't exist, right? So I'm going to cut my wire, right? I'm going to double my wire. You notice I cut it long, but I'm going to double my wire. And then that first loop that you use, that very first loop, you're going to stick it in there. You're going to put it under your thumb. You're going to bring it around. The reason I do loops, I'm going to show you. Here's the loop, right? You see it on my finger? I'm going to put this through here, and I'm going to pull it tight to keep everything together. And then I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to kind of just like work the ribbon loops until it gets to the shape that I want it to be. And then you will be able to see how absolutely cool it is. Then I'm going to twist my trailing pieces so that all of the color shows through. Look at that. Look. Now you've got an overly good size. And this would be great on a gift. It would be great hanging on each side of your drapes in your living room. Something to that effect. It would give you phenomenal appeal. And they're also really good just to put around when you're having a dinner party, you know. And you can do this with any holiday ribbon there is. So, you know, for Easter, for Thanksgiving, for birthdays, you're going to do birthday ribbon. make your own ribbons for them and tell them to keep it and use it to decorate throughout the year. So, cost saving amount, this is what is important to me anyways. Ribbon is expensive. When you're using ribbon like this one's $15. It is wired ribbon, as you can see, but it's the sheer. And you could probably get 4 bows out of there. So you're talking $3 a bow, which doesn't sound too bad. But if you go to, we did not pay this amount of money for any of these. Throughout the year, our hack is you hit garage sales, flea markets, even discount bins on Christmas items. Hit it after Christmas if you have to. Buy these ribbons for next to nothing. You can probably get an entire tray of them from a garage sale for, $10. Get them, hold them aside. Because then when Christmas comes, you don't have to shell out tons of money for your ribbon. And you already have it. Then, those of you who just jumped on, this was made from a new bolt of ribbon. But these were all made from ribbons, these were all pre-made years ago that we just refluffed up. So it's a great way to save money on Christmas decorations that you can still make your whole house look so fabulous on. Anyway, so that's the ribbons. I usually hold a ribbon class, and I'm not going to this year because it's just been nuts. And with the filming and everything, it's been crazy. But we will continue to do that next year and going forward. But to make the biggest impact at your events, try making bows for things. And then put them all in a bag. Don't worry if they get crushed or crushed. You can just pull them out, reform them, reuse them. You got probably 10 years per bow here. So that's my hack and my tip when it comes to bows. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I will do another bow video as we get closer to Christmas. So when you're wrapping gifts and stuff, I will show you how to make the bow be a second gift on top of your gift. Anyways, so I look forward to that. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, you guys. Well, now you're going to see me.